What's up, trucking fam? This is your guy Priest. I want to thank you for joining me in the Truckers Lounge. Before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe to the Truckers Lounge YouTube channel. We want to thank you for Gene and I want to thank you for the support that you have given us thus far. We're a fairly new channel. We just started a couple of months ago, and we didn't get further than we thought we would be at this time. But anyway, uh, I also want to say we plan on opening up this channel to stand by the name of it, the Truckers Lounge. You know, we talk about so much in the Truckers Lounge. We talk about more than just regulations, rates. You know, we also talk about relationships, mental health, good places to eat on the road. We talk about everything in the Truckers Lounge. So we want to build this platform the same way that with the same values that the Truckers Lounge will actually hold. So be on the lookout for that kind of content that we will be coming with soon. But first, let's get to some regulations here. I received an email this morning from the North American Transportation Association, basically reminding that on January the 16th, which is today, my time, that the FMCSA will be enforcing the broker and freight forwarder financial responsibility regulations. So I'm going to read a little bit of it off to you. It says motor carriers have new protections against broker and freight forwarder fraud. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration issued a final rule on broker and freight forwarder financial responsibilities with the aim of alleviating the effects of broker or trustee non-payment of claims. FMCSA says it listened closely to motor carrier and trucking association concerns and proposals found in the Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, which is known as the NPRM, when making the changes to how it regulates brokers. Okay, so federal law requires brokers and freight forwarders to maintain financial security in the amount of $75,000. In the final rule, the FMCSA declined to increase that amount for the BMC 84 or the BMC 85. Brokers and freight forwarders commonly meet the $75,000 requirement through surety agreements or trust funds backed by other parties. The final rule makes significant changes in ways assets may be used to meet the $75,000 security amount, and which types of entities can serve as financial backers to brokers and freight forwarders. In the NPRM, FMCSA had proposed a list of prohibited assets which could not be considered assets readily available to meet motor carrier claims because those assets were not secure, fluctuated in value, or were not convertible in a timely manner. In the final rule, however, the FMCSA agreed with many commenters that it was better to state the list of assets readily available, which is in quote, in an affirmative manner. This new approach prevents any future assertions that an unlisted asset somehow met the standard. The final rule states that the only assets which can be claimed are cash, irrevocable letters, or credit issued by a federal insured depository institution and treasury bond. In the line with the NPRM, FMCSA removed loan and finance companies from the entities eligible to serve as a financial backer, known formally as a BMC 85 trustee of a broker or freight forwarder. The agency noted that loan and finance companies are not depository institutions and are not regulated by the federal depository regulators or an equivalent state regulator. They are also generally not subject to a level of state regulations comparable to insurance companies. The final rule retained the FMCSA suspension of a broker freight forwarder's operating authority when its available financial security falls below $75,000 and the broker or freight forwarder fails to replenish funds within 7 calendar days. Sureties and trustees must also report if a broker or a freight forwarder enters bankruptcy or becomes insolvent. FMCSA will establish a website using the Unified Registration System platform to facilitate communications about broker, freight forwarder, insolvencies in suspensions. Lastly, the final rule adjusted the implementation timeline for these changes. FMCSA decided to reduce the implementation period from 3 years to 1 year after the effective date of the final rule for immediate suspension, financial failure, or insolvencies, and enforcement authority provisions of the rulemaking. FMCSA also reduced the implementation period from 3 years to 2 years for the assets readily available and entities eligible to provide trust funds for Form BMC 85 trust fund filings provision. Now, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a regulation to where if a broker don't pay, legitimate or not, if a broker doesn't pay and you file a claim against their surety bond, that you wouldn't have to go through the ups and downs and rounds and all the BS to be able to get your money. That basically the bonding company, whether it be BMC 84 or BMC 85, couldn't duck and hide. So to me, this regulation here is just basically dealing with fraud. And I like how they started it off when they said motor carriers have new protections. Yeah, in a lot of ways, motor carriers do have new protection, but which motor carriers that they're talking about? Because the FMCSA, believe it or not, they still view freight forwarders and brokers as motor carriers. And I know that's probably over a lot of you guys' head, but that's actually true. They still consider them as motor carriers. So I don't know who this rule here is just really protecting, but it don't sound like it's protecting the common man. Like when it comes to dealing with a broker that doesn't pay your money, you did everything right. You have emails to back you up. You have Raycons to back you up. You have BOLs to back you up. But yet a surety bond or a broker's trustee can still hide behind the fact that, well, the broker said that's not true, even though you have all the information, because that was my experience with a broker one time when I had to file a claim. The surety bond, and I'm talking about this went on like 8 months. A lot of it was due to getting poor response from the broker's bonding company because they decided to stop speaking with me. But it was basically like the way the surety bond company played is that it's your word against theirs. The broker said that this is not true. And I'm like, well, I have the emails here. I have everything that I sent you. And then they go through this process of saying, can you send more information? Can you send more information? That's just a way of you keeping the claim open. But it's like they put it in the broker's corner to basically say that if you did it, pay it. If you say you didn't do it, you don't have to pay it. And you as a carrier still have to go through the process of you can go to the FMCSA and file the claim, but you still have to go and get a lawyer to actually file a lawsuit to be able to get your money. So this regulation here, don't nobody get excited like I did when I first heard this, but this regulation here is just basically protecting the bigger brokers, uh, giving them something to basically weave out all these unwanted entities as brokering loads. Is basically putting them in position to be able to still have control over what percentage of freight that they're still being able to push out here and to keep freight from being stolen. So like I said, I mean, it's good that the FMCSA is doing something, but if you really want to do something, stop passing these dumbass regulations. Stop talking about a lot of this dumb shit that you're talking about, speed limiter, mandate, and all this bullshit here. That's what I would say. But I just wanted to bring that to you, and just basically just shed some light on that. Just for anybody who took it the way that I took it, as if that this was going to be something that if a broker don't pay, you can make them pay. That's not what this regulation is. So, but anyway, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, we appreciate you guys' support. All you drivers, stay safe out there. Stay persistent, consistent, and remember, always look at the big picture. Yes, sir. Peace out. Stay safe.